Having heard the discussions of Sir Jerry Arances on just transition, Engineer Bert Dalusong on nuclear energy, and Ms. Sonia Mendoza on WTE, let us hear from a panel of reactors further thoughts and insights on whether these technologies should be included in the Just Climate Transition plans. So please allow me to introduce them. First, we have the Review and Evaluation Section Chief of the Environmental Impact Assessment and Management Division from the Department of Environment and Natural Resources Environmental Management Bureau, Engineer Regina Paula Eugenio. Next, we have three representatives from the Department of Energy. Please allow me to introduce the OIC and Chief of the Nuclear Energy Division, Ms. Sheila de la Cruz, Supervising Science Research Specialist from the Biomass Energy Management Bureau, Mr. Romeo Galamgam, and Science Research Specialist 2 from the Biomass Energy Management Bureau as well, Ms. Gemaline Galang. And for our last panelist, we also warmly welcome the Executive Director of the Green Research Environmental Research Group Incorporated, or our environmental sociologist, Ms. Patria Gwen M.L. Borsena. Please do take turns na lang po. Each will be provided roughly 8 minutes po in the interest of time. We can start with our government agencies, EMB, then DOE, then Ms. Gwen po from Green Research. Alright? Makakalikasang araw po, Engineer Regina, Ms. Sheila, Mr. Romeo, Ms. Gemaline, and Ms. Gwen. Should nuclear and WTE be included in the Just Climate Transition? Go ahead po.
Yes, ito makakalikasang hapon no, sa ating lahat. Of course, first and foremost, I would like to thank the organizers for giving us the opportunity and inviting us for this Kamayan. So, I saw Ma'am Vicky and Ma'am Olivia, no? Good afternoon, nun. So, mga ano ko sila, professor ko sila sa MS program ko dati sa PWU. So, and of course, DOE, good afternoon also, and the other resource person. So, first and foremost, no, we were talking about just energy transition, and I would say that it's more than a technical shift. It is a social and economic transformation, and this means that we are moving toward an energy mix that balances no sustainability, equity, and resilience, and of course, while meeting our energy security and climate objectives. So, kanya nga, di ba, sinabi ni Sir Jerry para saan? At para kanino? So, well, when we speak of just transition, we are ensuring that when we do the transition, no community or no one is left behind as we modernize our energy system. So we have a very big, ambitious targets when it comes to our reduction of GHG emissions. That's 75% by 2030. Of course, conditional on international support, and we have to raise renewable shares to 35% by 2030 and 40 or 50% by 2040. And yet, as mentioned by Sir Jerry Arances a while ago, that we are still 62% dependent on coal. So we have challenges on achieving our commitments. Just a brief background then, no? Para lang ma-put into proper context natin why this matter sa atin, for Filipinos and for the Philippines. Simply because we are highly vulnerable to climate change, and our reliance on fossil fuels contributes to greenhouse gas emissions. But on the question on whether nuclear energy or WTE should be included in the just energy transition, no, I would say that we cannot say it outright, yes or no. But for me as a government, we still have a lot of things to study, because we have seen a while ago the discussion of Sir Bert regarding nuclear energy technology. There are challenges we have to look into our how we would manage the waste, high cost. But then again, we have to be um, open-minded in a way that there's also a pros in doing the nuclear energy for it would be a more stable base load and when we are looking for economic growth we need to have our industrial growth and also grid stability. And for WTE, of course, there are also cons. And as mentioned, health impacts, um, there are concerns on air emissions, and of course, uh, it might increase our waste or because there might be the risk of discouraging waste reduction efforts because we would be needing enough waste to run the waste to energy projects. And but on the other hand, we would see that the WTE can help reduce landfill waste. So with this in mind, given the pros and cons of both two, no, we would say the EMB that any proposal for nuclear or waste to energy development should go through a robust environmental impact assessment. This is to ensure that environmental impacts are properly identified and mitigated. And it was already mentioned by Sir Jerry a while ago regarding the PENCAS. So it's a it's a recently passed law in 2024 that requires government to consider capital values in policy making, development planning, and investment decision. So um, these two national policy framework should be be given enough madaming pag-aaral ang kailangan uh, to know whether they should be included in the just energy transition. While meron na tayong mga batas on nuclear and also on WTE, still these are still subject to environmental impact assessment. So their inclusion should be science-based, aligned with national policy, international best practices, and again, it should be subject to rigorous EIA process. And ulitin ko lang yung sinabi kanina, at the end of the day, a just energy transition isn't about energy sources. It's about people, equity, and sustainability. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Regina. Next po, si Miss Sheila de la Cruz. Yes po.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Am I clear?
Yes po, loud and clear.
Yes. Good afternoon po sa lahat. Just to be able to react on some points raised by our resource persons a while ago. Actually, some of the points were already raised by Ma'am Reg. We worked with DNR particularly in the areas of environmental protection, and I'll elaborate on that a little bit later on. So just to give a context po, the Philippine Nuclear Energy Program, there's currently an interagency committee called Nuclear Energy Program Interagency Committee, or NEP-IAC, constituted last 2020, and it is being chaired by DOE. It started out as an 11-member committee, and now it grows into a 24-member agencies. Bakit? Kasi nakita ng grupo itself na kailangan pa nating maglagay ng mga additional members because of the different mandates that they cover. The task given by then President was that look into nuclear as an intergovernment approach and make sure that we do not miss anything, because we all know that nuclear is some sort of a very sensitive topic and issues in the Philippines given our history. So intergovernment approach po siya in a way na yung mga mandates ng government offices na na-encroach ng Nuclear Energy Program Interagency Committee ay masasaklawan naming lahat, maabot naming lahat. So, bakit importante na intergovernment approach? So for example, ang sinusunod po kasi nating framework sa ating nuclear energy program is from the IAEA, which is the international body that watches over the operations. So parang sila yung watchdog sa nuclear energy. So may tinatawag na milestone approach wherein merong identified na 19 infrastructure issues. Ano to? Ito yung lahat ng issues na pwedeng erase sa isang nuclear energy program. So as far as the Philippine nuclear energy is concerned, meron tayong sinusunod na phases. So phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And dun sa 19 infrastructure issues, 6 na subcommittees ang nag-ooperate under the NEP-IAC itself. Yung 19 infrastructure issues, hinati yon, pinaghati-hatian yun, kinluster yun into 6. So, for example, nabanggit kanina yung mga safety issues. So, meron tayong nuclear safety, security and safeguards, and radiation protection. Lump yun sa isang subcommittees. Ina-address nila lahat ng requirements as far as the international adherence is concerned on nuclear safety. Yung mga experts natin, not just from DOE, but also from DOST, Department of Health, and other relevant government agencies are working together to be able to assure na ang program natin, ang nuclear energy program natin will be in adherence in the highest standards of safety, security, and non-proliferation. What else? When it comes to relevant laws, as mentioned by our opening speaker kanina, meron na tayong Republic Act 12305 or the PhilAtom Bill. So we finally have an independent body na mag-oversee ng mga nuclear installations ng bansa, not just for power utilization but also for in medical application of nuclear. So ang current status sa ngayon, fina-finalize ng dalawang grupo, yung isang division sa PNRI and yung isang division sa Food and Drug Administration ng Department of Health, yung kanilang IRR para magkaroon na talaga, ma-establish na yung office itself. And then what else? The DOE recently signed a department circular about the integration of nuclear energy in the Philippine Energy Plan. So it has a guiding principles on energy security, environmental sustainability, grid harmonization, and competitive pricing. So when it comes to, of course, for electrical grid, we are in coordination with the IAEA and other international counterparts on how to address grid issues of an embarking nuclear country like us. For human resource, na-mention din kanina yung manpower capacity. So yung human resource group po natin being led by the PNRI, we do have CHED and TESDA on board as well, is also in coordination with local counterparts and international counterparts on developing the manpower capacity needed by a nuclear power program. So yung mga knowledge sharing natin, ongoing yan. We have joint memorandum of intentions, joint agreements with our counterparts to be able to share their best practices to a country like us na embarking. Kasi meron naman po tayong pool of talents eh. And we're also working on, our universities here to reintroduce nuclear engineering courses or a much more intensive nuclear science courses. Financing, na-mention din kanina, aside from the members of the NEPIAC and other government agencies, the NEPIAC itself is currently having coordinations with our private sectors. Kasi with the structure of our power industry, sila yung mga nakikita nating magiging operators ng isang project undertaking na to. And aside from that, the government is also learning from the international bodies on how they are currently financing, what are the different models in financing a nuclear power plant. Na-mention kanina ni Ms. Reg yung EIA. Yes, another infrastructure issue is called environmental protection, which ensures that the program will adhere to our laws on ENVI compliance. So we're currently doing activities, yung parang yung sinabi kanina ni ma'am na dapat nagko-comply sa EIA and so on. We're doing that and we're working on it on a nuclear setting. Kasi meron tayo ngayon na for power plants, yung conventional power plants, but we do recognize that the nuclear power plants itself have a very specific requirements. For the waste, so anong gagawin sa waste? We do understand that that's a concern of other people. So there's a certain group also that handles radioactive waste management. And with the passage of Philatom Bill, there's a reference there that a radioactive management site needs to be identified, and that's what currently the group is working. They're also developing legal framework on the management of radioactive waste as well as nuclear fuel cycle options. To ensure that the country's program is in line with international compliances, we do have treaties that needs to be ratified. And right now, the executive ratification of this treaties, we do have 4, is already being endorsed to the Senate for a Senate concurrence. So, isa po sa mga importanteng infra na nire-recognize namin is, of course, public acceptance. There's also an infrastructure issue that's called stakeholders involvement, which mainly deals with public acceptability and trust of the nuclear energy program. For those interested, the results of the public perception surveys posted sa DOE website. Maaari niyo pong makita doon yung level ng acceptance ng sinurvey ng nuclear team last year. It was a 2024 survey, and it yielded positive results on the acceptability of building a new power plant compared. Meron din po kasi tayong ginawa noong 2019. So makikita niyo po yung result ng latest public perception survey on nuclear energy program in the Philippines in our website. And so far, yun po yung mga observations namin. For any other informations na may queries kayo, I think the organizer has my contact and you can reach me to that. So thank you po. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you po, Ms. Sheila. Next po from Biomass Energy Management Bureau. Yes.
Hi, good afternoon everyone. So I'll just have a short position on the DOE's stand for waste to energy. And so let me begin by thanking everyone for gathering today to discuss this topic. So we acknowledge that there are still concerns regarding waste to energy, especially on incineration, and it has generated strong opinions and deep concerns. So we take all of this seriously. That's why the department is committed to creating policies that are environmentally sound. So communities usually worry about air emissions and health impacts. So with this, we have our policies in place that acknowledges that WTE should be state-of-the-art, should have state-of-the-art emission monitoring system and is compliant with RA 8749 and RA 9003. So WTE projects like this must have continuous emission monitoring, advanced flue gas cleaning systems, and strict protocols for ash handling. So we also wish to emphasize that the DOE is technology neutral. We do not promote necessary technology. So there are different types of technology registered with the DOE already, such as landfill methane recovery, thermolysis, anaerobic digestion, and direct combustion. But all of these direct combustion projects are still under development and no operational facility as of the moment. So at the same time, we wish to emphasize that waste to energy does not replace the waste hierarchy. So our policy is fully aligned with the principle of waste reduction, segregation, composting, and recycling. So for residual waste that cannot be reused or recycled, it is the technologically proven option. So without WTE, there are concerns on LGUs escalating landfill cost, shrinking disposal sites, and environmental pressures. So with this, you may refer to our newly issued circular, the DC 2025-10-00323 and DC 2025-11-0026, which establishes the framework for LGU clustering, benefit sharing mechanisms among LGUs that will contribute waste to the facilities. So, and accountability and monitoring across the entire waste value chain, and compliance with different technical and environmental standards set, of course, by our NGAs. So these policies ensure that this our WTE development is fully aligned with national plans on solid waste management and energy reliability. That will be all. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Miss Gemaline. Is Mr. Romeo Galamgam here? I think he's not in the meeting room. Am I correct po? Wala po si...
Yes, ma'am. He's having technical difficulties po.
all right po. Sige po, thank you. We'll move on na po to Miss Gwen for the meantime. Thank you.
Isang makakalikasang pagbati sa inyong lahat mula sa Green Research. So ito yung ating flyer para today. Salamat sa mga naunang speakers, especially kay Tita Sonia at kay, andito po ba si Jerry? Siyempre yung mga partners sa environment movement. Okay. So sa government agencies, please listen. Listen with your heart, ha? Kasi parang I don't know if nakinig kayo kanina doon sa dalawa. So anyway, sige, subukan natin. I try to go fast. I have a PowerPoint. Warningan nyo ako pag last 2 minutes. I try to go fast sa kanilang balikan. Anyway, short lang naman yung dalawang reactor. So paka-allowed ako. Sige. So, yung pinili kong pagka pamagat sa aking short talk ay critical. It's a critical take on the false solutions that address climate change emergency, hindi na crisis, and it's a false solution towards the energy transition in the Philippines. Focusing on the Duterte 2 PBBM. Sa tingin ko mahalagang maintindihan natin, yun yung medyo kakulangan ng reading ko, na hindi natin masyadong naintindihan yung mga nangyaring policy and legislative framework or mga directions na ginawa nila. Honestly, I confess, yung iba hindi ko na-monitor. Hindi namin na-monitor. So, disclosure then, we already had an initial forum. It's entitled Interdisciplinary Conversation on Laudato Si and Technology last October. Dr. Nina Galang was one of the reactors. Dr. Toby Daigit gave something on the biotechnology and Laudato Si. And from EcoWays, we had Shai. And of course, we had Jeb Sanyo to tackle the nuclear. Okay, so hindi ko alam kung nabanggit to kanina. So, ito, mahalagang tandaan natin, isa sa mga negative pamana na legacy ng Duterte administration, yung EO number 116220, gumawa ng national position, mga relevant studies to prepare for a national position. Medyo hindi natin masyado nang na-block yun, nagtuloy-tuloy, tail end, malapit na mag-election, kaya parang midnight deal to 2022, nagkaroon ng Executive Order 164 adopting a national position for a nuclear energy program. Dahil doon, ito, sinite ito sa EO, yung minimension kanina, way back 2019, may public perception, pero may tanong kami dyan sa kana. Engagement of public sector and take note, DOE, DNR, kung nandito kayo, NEDA, did we really participate? Show us proofs that we attended those legislative meetings, those cabinet meetings, whatever consultations you have. I don't think you can prove that. Okay, next. Nilagay pa dito, plano pa, hindi pa tinantanan yung Bataan Nuclear Plant, di ba? I mean, ang tagal-tagal ng yun, issue. Anyway, there. Gusto pa i-resurrect. So ngayon, dahil ngayon may dalawang EO na yan, kinuha ng BBM administration. Sinakyan niya, or hindi ko alam kung ang hula ko may ang hula ko lang may hanky-panky towards the election. Nag-usap na yung dalawa nun. Parang sinil na nila. Kaya tuloy, sa Philippine Development Plan 2023-2028, 11 times na-mention yung nuclear. Nandun siya sa chapter Expand and Upgrade Infrastructure. Outcome 4, affordable, accessible, reliable, clean energy. Ayan, mabasa nyo. The government will explore the inclusion of nuclear energy in the mix. EO 164 on adapting the national position towards nuclear energy program has set the stage for re-evaluating the entry of nuclear energy into the fuel mix. Ayan, gagastos pa sila ng mga studies. Parang flood control scandal din yan eh. Gagastos ka na hindi naman dapat kailangan. There. Hindi pa lang kayo na-expose, pero once na na-expose yung mga pinagagastos nyo sa nuclear, lagot kayo. Sige. Sa susunod, sa chapter 13, nilagay pa dito, napaka-weird. Ang chapter 13 is ensure peace and security, enhance administration of justice. Tapos doon pinasok yung nuclear. Yung National Action Plan on okay, may mga sumasali pa pala sa ating Zoom. Sorry. The National Action Plan on Chemical, Biological, and Radiological Nuclear. Yung tinatawag na NAP-CBRN. So, nandun siya. Next, doon sa PDP rin na yan, di natin nabantayan, nilagay na pala na plano nilang gumawa ng law. Ayan. Kikita niyo may blue. Drafting of a comprehensive atomic energy regulatory framework. Na nagawa nga nila, mabilisan, hindi ko alam, napasa na, ito lang October ata. So wala siya dito sa presentation ko, pero na-mention naman kanina. So okay, ngayon, backtrack ng konti. Panahon ni President Noy, kailangan mag-submit ng intended nationally determined contribution. Hindi pa Paris, natapos na ba ang Paris Agreement nito? Yeah, in October 15, based on the decisions made on COP19 and COP21. So, hindi pa nagpa-Paris Agreement, INDC pa lang yung kailangan nating submit. Natimbrihan kami na may nuclear doon. So, ang ginawa namin, there was a high-level multi-sectoral consultation. The governor, I don't know if it was governor or congressman at the time, Salceda was there. I remember the Climate Change Commissioner, Sering, was there. And we demanded that it be removed. And they removed it. So, wala siya sa INDC. Okay, next. Yon. Pero ngayon, yung submission ng, so ngayon nagkaroon na ng Paris Agreement. Kailangan na mag-submit na, maybe Jerry can expound on this more if kailangan, ng Nationally Determined Contribution, NDC. Dun sa UN body na yon, focus on climate change. Okay? So, noong 2021, no mention of nuclear. Okay, clear. Maiksi lang yan eh. Pero, lo and behold, dun sa final text ng NDC Implementation Plan, published ng CCC, at kasabwat ang DNR, ginamit na yung word na nuclear 3 times sa government document. Ayan na, hindi na natin nabantayan yan. Tapos susunod, ngayon, merong draft, yan, magandang sagutin ng DOE at kung meron ditong DNR, sayang sana nag-invite tayo ng CCC and EDA. Dun sa draft, NDC, as of September 6 pa yon, nandun pa yung nuclear. Sabi ko tanggalin. Pinasabi ko kina Rodney, kina JL, hindi ko alam kung ano nangyari. I'm not so active. Sila yung nasa COP 30, sila yung umuupo sa DNR for the NDC. I don't know what happened, kung anong nangyari sa lobby or kung nag-lobby man or hindi ko alam. The nuclear option was still included in that draft. As of now, the last time I checked, a few days ago, the Philippines has not submitted the NDC. Ang tinatawag doon, enhanced NDC. So, pwede pa natin habulin. Philippines, dapat isinabmit tayo sa COP 30. Isa sa Philippines, yung country natin, isa sa mga hindi nag-submit pa. Kaya baka pwede pang mahabol. Subukan lang natin. Dapat. So, ngayon gusto kong balikan. Ano yung sinasabi? Mahalaga. May isang word pala dito na hindi minamention sa forum. Yung tinatawag na mahalaga at very close to our heart, ang precautionary principle na nandun siya sa Environmental Rules of Procedure promulgated by the Supreme Court. I forgot anong year nga yun. Na nandun yung mga writ of kalikasan, temporary environmental protection order. Nandun yung, ayan na, may pumapasok sa DOE. Sige, dumami kayo dito nang marinig nyo kami. And then, nasa na ako? Na promulgated ng Supreme Court, yung TEPO at yung writ of kalikasan. Nandun yung principle na precautionary principle. At kami ni Dr. Nina Galang, when we were, nakalimutan kong banggitin, we helped in formulating the Philippine Development Plan under the Pinoy administration and the entire thing. We were able to monitor it. yung kay Duterte, yung kay Gina Lopez was DNR secretary, medyo rush na yon. Yung environment lang yung na-monitor namin. So, anyway, in short, wala sa PDP ang nuclear, pati yung Laiban Dam, napatanggal namin yan. Wala yan doon. So, anyway, so ngayon, nasa na ako? Noong 2025, mali ata ako nito, 2020, mali ako, sorry September, no, sorry. This is the recent document released ng CSO, led by Action Klima and I think by SEEDS, etc. Ito yung positions nila for the, tama ba ako? About the PAMs, okay? Yung PAMs, yung policies and measures covering the following sectors. Okay? Mariin ditong sinabi nila, we oppose the inclusion of nuclear energy as one of the alternative fuels that is part of the energy sectoral plans, PAMs. In the context of climate action, we regard nuclear, ayan, take note, as a false solution. I will repeat, as a false solution that detracts from the necessary resources to accelerate renewable energy development with our concerns regarding the issues of nuclear safety, waste disposal, high upfront costs, also remaining largely unanswered by its proponents. Yan nga, 38 organizations lang yan. Pero take note, before the election ng presidential elections in 2022, actually, we wrote here 125 signed it during the launch, but towards Earth Day, I think umabot na ng 140 civil society organizations and networks already made a statement, unity statement, urgent call for a pro-Filipino climate and environment agenda, manawagan para sa maka-Pilipinong agenda ukol sa klima at kalikasan. Okay? At mariin dito, kasama dito yung no to nuclear energy, no to waste energy, no to mining, no to large dams. Ayan, yung naka-highlight. So itong portion na to, ito yung parang context o parang general direction, climate emergency and other major reasons behind a clamor for a green development path. Yan pala, I wanted to stress as a sociologist, and since we started with the green convergence, that was what our call. We are united against the flawed development paradigm, and we want to push a sustainable, an alternative paradigm. Kaya nga, di ba, ang pangalan natin, ano yun? Green convergence for safe food, healthy environment, and sustainable economy. Hindi lang tayo against ng mga bagay-bagay na mali. Meron tayong sinusulong na alternative path. Okay? Dito sa dokumento na to, tinawag namin siyang Green Development Path. Okay? Next. Okay, ang important, I will not discuss the whole environment agenda, but just related to our topic today, ito, important policy recommendations align with the imperative of inclusive, transparent, and just, and effective climate governance. We call on the next leaders of the Philippine national and even at the local to implement policies aligned with the following. Pursue environment-friendly economic policies and programs, avoid investment in harmful activities such as commercial logging, large-scale inland and offshore mining, nuclear energy, waste energy, large dams, and reclamation, dump and fill. Ayan pa pala isang issue, dump and fill. Next. Wala na ako masyadong time, but I wanted to show sana some of the statements of the church, but ito lang yung mga at least two, no, that 2 or 3 that I was able to include in this presentation. On January 28, 2022, the CPCP issued the pastoral statement on ecology. It's a call for unity and action amid the climate emergency and ano yun? Sorry, hindi ko na mabasa. Planet crisis ba yun? Ayun. They echoed the civil society submission about the NDC and they oppose nuclear. Ayan. Hindi ko lang matandaan, hindi ko na double check kung may waste to energy in that paper. I will there. So there. See, this was signed by then, he was still a bishop, Cardinal David, as president. And then the Balanga, as some of you might know, is in Bataan, where the monstrous BNPP is there. It's like a sleeping disaster there. Nagsalita na rin yung diocese. May statement na sila noong 2014. Inulit-ulit nila noong 2013. I wasn't able to compare yet the text, but basically the point is that they have spoken repeatedly against the BNPP and they stand for no to the BNPP in their place. Okay? Bakit hindi yan naririnig? Asan yung social acceptability? Asan yung consultation na sinasabi ninyo? Yung survey na sinasabi niyo, hindi ko pa lang na-check. Pero nadulas ka kanina eh. Nadulas kanina isang speaker, sabi niya, our nuclear team made the survey. Ha? Eh di bias yun. Hindi pwedeng kayo yung nag-monitor ng survey, kayo nagpagawa, kayo yung gumastos. It might be biased and it's, I don't know. Ang theory ko lang dyan, it might be contaminated data, meaning you cannot trust that. It cannot be inferred to the general validity. May question ng validity. Okay? Next. At saka, kahit naman nag-survey kayo, hindi nyo ba naririnig yung boses ng civil society? Simbahan ng ilang dekada, ayaw namin, delikado. O, ito bago, sorry. Cardinal David, Bishop David, hindi ko tapansin ito. Nagsalita na pala siya noong 2024, inulit niya. Sabi niya, let us call on the youth to advocate for a nuclear-free world. Sabi pa niya, for this year, our focus is on the grave threat of nuclear weapons, emphasized by Pope Francis and the global leaders. So CBCP President Bishop Pablo Virgilio David, fondly call him Bishop Ambo, said in a statement, we aim to engage our youth in advocating for a world free from the risk of nuclear proliferation. He added, sorry, stop share. What did I wanted to stress? Nandiyan pa kayo? Narinig niyo ba ako? Okay pa ako? Ano ba yung sa-summarize ko lang? Ano yung gusto kong sabihin? Yun, ninote ko pala. Yun nga, yung question dun sa survey, nadulas siya kanina, our nuclear team did the survey. Tapos the question of participatory inclusive governance. I wanted to check the Senate records in the House. Or maybe the DOE can produce it. Tell us, did any of us attended those hearings in the House and in the Senate? Naku, kung meron, pero palagay ko wala. In NEDA, paggawa ng PDP under the Marcos, kinuha ko. I have two sayang wala na dito yung two copies ko eh. Yung nasa other shelf ko. I have two copies of the PDP under, of course, under Pinoy dahil tumulong kami doon. Yung second, yung kay Duterte. Yung kay Marcos, wala akong kopya. Pandemic ginawa. Ano yung gusto kong sabihin dun sa PDP na yon? Binasa ko lang yung a few pages. Walang participation ng civil society, walang in-acknowledge dun sa likod. So, ang nakakalungkot lang, Ma'am, Dr. Nina, kakilala natin yung isang nag-draft, yung isang top editor. Sayang, hindi natin nabalitaan yon. Nagulat din ako bakit, and ironically, is a professor from Ateneo. Sayang, I don't know what happened. Actually, hindi lang professor, naging dean pa. Ako, sasabihin ko ba? So anyway, so inuulit ko, ang dapat natin dito, ang realization ko, aminado ako na I was not able okay, malapit na. Sige, summarize ko na. Green Research was not able to engage or monitor certain policy developments. Kasi personally, I also had two operations for Miney. I had to prepare for it, focus on it, and then there was the pandemic. Tapos meron pang ibang priority sociological research. So medyo napabayaan. Pero one time I remembered I called for Greenpeace. Nung nilabas yung EO, sabi ko mag-meeting tayo. Hindi na namin natuloy yung meeting. Tapos nag-press ko na sila. Tapos parang Greenpeace na lang ang tumutok. I don't know. And then now we've been inviting Greenpeace to share what they have done, what they have not yet responded to our invitation to a forum or even a write-up about it. Sorry, they might be busy, they might lack people, but sana they tell us. So in short, I think mea culpa din eh. Let's ask ourselves, saan tayo nagkulang din? And to the government people who are here, hindi pa huli. Huwag nyo nang hintayin na magka-skandal. Huwag nyo nang hintayin na magwelga ang buong bayan against sa nuclear at sa WTE kasi hindi siya katanggap-tanggap. Kung nakalusot kayo ngayon sa ilang policy at legislative, mayroon pa kaming laban sa korte. At pwede pa rin namin i-challenge kayo na hindi kayo dumaan sabi ninyo, kanina sabi ng isang speaker, no one is left behind. Oy, bakit hindi nyo kami kinonsulta? Bakit hindi kayo nakikinig sa amin? Nakikinig lang kayo dun sa transnational, sa may mga pera, sa elite. Hindi ganon, hindi, yun nga, the church, di ba, synodal, And then pinasok din namin yan sa kay Pinoy, the participatory governance. I don't know if it's still in the present PDP. So, yun lang. Okay. Salamat.
Hello, ayan. I hope I'm audible. Thank you very much to our panel of reactors. Very, very interesting reactions from our panel of reactors. We would like to thank Engineer Regina Paula Eugenio from the Chief of the Review and Evaluation Section of the Environmental Impact Assessment and Management Division of the Environmental Management Bureau. We would like to thank Sheila De La Cruz, the OIC Chief of the Nuclear Energy Division of the Department of Energy. Jemeline Galang, the Science Research Specialist of Business Energy Management Bureau, Department of Energy. Sir Romeo Galamgam, Supervising Science Research Specialist, Biomass Energy Management Bureau, Department of Energy. And Patria Gwen M. L. Borcena, Environmental Sociologist and Executive Director of Green Research Environmental Research Group Incorporated. Thank you for very, very interesting. And to everyone who turned into our discussion, of course, we will also like to extend our heartfelt thanks to JRS Express for making today's Kamayan Forum possible. With that, I believe we can have our open forum shortly. But before that, let's take our mandatory group photo every Kamayan session.
Yes, may we kindly ask our members, our participants, as well as our resource speakers to please turn your cameras on for a group shot to be facilitated by GC's Tech Assistant, Ms. Mabeth Jose. Ms. Mabeth, please cue us in.
Yes, say green.
Green.
Okay,
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Green.
Green.
Wow.
Green.
Green.
Thank you po.
Yan.
Okay, thank you, Ms.
Kailangan
Mabeth.
green
Thank you,
dahil bawal na
everyone.
yung cheese, no? Masama nang pakinggan yung cheese.
Naku.
May side comment.
Yeah.